Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Halfway point right now, but for the ESL Pro League, and I mean NRG up against INTZ. After that match, I'm definitely looking forward to this map at the moment. 16-13, both parties showing off some pretty solid Counter-Strike, and it makes me a little bit tasty for more.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a really big proving ground and improvement process for INTZ. I mean, they got the 2 over Luminosity, and if they're able to keep on beating those sort of lower of the rung in terms of the ladder points and the overall standings opponents, like your Luminosities, maybe your Uniteds, if they end up going down there and stuff like that, then they should have a pretty good opportunity to be able to move their way up towards the top of the ladder and just contesting and taking a lot of rounds off and being impressive against them, getting some nice experiences in terms of learning up against your NRGs and your Liquids and your MIBRs. You couldn't be happy for more if you're INTZ.
Yeah, I mean, but we're jumping onto the fourth map very soon as well, and I don't know what else to say so far. I mean, I felt like we've covered a lot of things before, and we need to kind of look on how they're going to go from here.
Yeah, look, if you're looking for a lesson in how to click on heads, then yeah, you want to be watching that game from Cello. I mean, it was just absolutely phenomenal. You talk about your level of talent over on your INTZ squad. You got Phelps, you got KNG. Cello's making them look like I don't know, little manlets, I suppose, and he's like 6 foot tall. He's just going ham.
I wouldn't say little manlets, but definitely a performance to be showing. And I mean,
it's more like you got like a basketball team or something. You got like your 6'4" guys. They're like slam dunking, and then that 7-foot guy just walks on the court. He's like, "Yo, I'm Cello. What's going on, guys?"
Wouldn't really make that analogy just yet, but I mean, if Cello was ever going to be streaming, then maybe it would be on an Intel processor, and then we can watch how he just domes opponents like that and he just dunks on people. Because that was, I mean, just starting for the pistol round, that was absolutely sublime. And the rifling skills there, obviously we're hyping him up a lot, but as one of the talents that's been around for the Brazilian scene for quite a while in the last year, that's always been known as a young, sharp rifler. It's always good to kind of see players pop off every now and then, and you just kind of sit back and go like, wow, okay, this is what it was like watching Breezy maybe about 1.5 years ago, 1 year ago.
Yeah, and it's nice to see it up against a team like NRG. Like, it's cool if you smash a team like Luminosity and you're running all over them if they're in poor form, or you go up against your United and they're looking a little bit lackluster that day and you drop a 30. I don't think anyone really cares that much, but if you go up against your NRG or your Liquid or something and you have a good performance like that, even online, that gets you some amount of brownie points, that gets you some amount of hype.
Yeah, I mean, the odds are still skewed against INTZ, and obviously for NRG, it's still looking favourable for them to close out the series. But at the same time, I mean, they're not out with it with a complete chance just yet. It's a very small, minuscule chance. We saw that in Inferno coming into their own map pick now. It's still a small chance, and we'll have to see how they go from here, really.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, you know, NRG is a pretty tough opponent to beat, especially when they don't really have the pressure on as much. You know, they can just rely on their game plan, rely on their calls to get themselves through. And then if somebody shows up and has a high peak individual performance, I would say Ethan had a pretty good game last game. Overall, his frag count wasn't high, but it felt like every gun round he was getting at least one, if not doubling up, especially the CT side of Nana. T side putting a lot of pressure as well. So I would say he had a pretty good game. And if you're interested in how to learn how to attack Nana as a solo rifler even, or even just hold Nana on the CT side, he'd be a good person to watch, I would imagine. Going into the next game, I mean, it's like I was talking about before, even on a map like Mirage, which is something that NRG should be reasonably comfortable going into. You know, they won't really need to do anything special to win the game, and if somebody shows up, like especially Cirque on the AWP or Breezy or Ethan, it's just a bonus on top of what already should be an NRG victory, even if it's a closer one.
But similarly, within starting on the T side, I'm fairly certain it's really up to them to dictate the tempo, and if they're able to start guns ablaze and taking the pistol, who knows how they can go from there. Phelps, he's got the set of utility very early on, and all the players of INTZ angled to the B apps.
Yep. Seen some pretty fast pistols in general from INTZ. They will hear the footsteps coming out from INTZ here. None of the flashbangs, either of them are effective, and those are easy headshots coming out from both Fugly and Breeze.
Yeah, still dealing it out. Fugly trying to stand his ground, but it doesn't really do any additional damage beyond that point. But the rotation's already come out. NRG The defenders on the B-bomb site have bought enough time, and Zand is eventually going to be slowly encroached upon. And Ethan is going to be cleaning things up as well.
Where do those flashes go from Phelps? Neither of them even worked at all.
I don't know. Pause coming out, though. No. So maybe that's what the flashbangs did. Triggered a pause. I'd say it's a
At least they did something. It's better than what they did in the round in question.
All right, so we are into a very quick tech pause, actually. Let's throw back into it.
Okay. Going to be this full save from INTZ. They want to get into the gun round next. Fugly's got a P90.
Well, it's done a little bit of damage, but they've lost one of the...
No head armor on Breeze there.
Yeah.
That's a yikes from me.
KNG, slowly coming down the ladder. Is anyone going to retrieve that M4? Daps? No? Okay.
Doesn't Ethan already have it?
I swear Breezy had an M4 and it's lost in connector somewhere because he was dealing it out. Ethan got it?
Yeah, I think this is Breezy's.
Okay.
So. This is
scintillating Counter-Strike. A bit of a breather at the moment. A bit of a talk. KNG wants to do some damage, and I can understand this concept. He believes that the CT is going to be roaming around, but NRG, a lot of discipline in terms of making sure that the firing lines are all being covered.
I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious he's trying to walk out B or A.
Yep. So there you have it. Only a single gun lost for the side of NRG, and they can just drop that straight back over. But a P90 still in the hands of Fugly. Oh boy. The INTZ though, AK is out. Utility as well. Some utility to work with. So don't know if they want to angle for a bit of a slower default round if they're going to be putting their eggs in the basket of that A side execute. KNG is already fast out, looking to try to get some A ramp control off the CTs.
It's pop flash though. Is it coming out from jungle?
I think so. There it is. But KNG still coming out on top. Ethan barely getting away for now. Palace player does make a bit of a step out, and oh my goodness, in unison, bang bang. They've got the entries that they needed so far, but Breezy's still here at ticket.
That's the one player they need to avoid. Daps has the MP9, but Breezy getting more headshots. See if Daps can punish Phelps coming up from connector. The digs come out. Oh my god, Zand on top of balcony, last alive, Kev.
And they know where he vaguely is because they've managed to tag him down. Oh my goodness, how has NRG still managed to convert that round after the great start from INTZ? There's one word, it's called Breezy.
Yep. He's in from the CT position, and if you don't smoke him off, you don't flash him off the line, he's going to keep re-peeking because he knows they're at a disadvantage.
I think the game changer there is that normally you see a player in Ticket get a kill and stay in Ticket. He actually pushed past Triple to get that kill on the player in Tetris. And
yeah.
I think that was instrumental in them gaining that success that they needed in that round.
For sure. If they're up in a 5-on-4, he's not re-peeking that. He's not holding W, he's holding C or S.
You know who's holding W? Fugly. The rest of the players at the moment, oh no, this is NRG. They are just going full force at the moment.
It's INTZ's map pick. They don't want to get them too comfortable. They want to get in their face and make them as uncomfortable as possible. NRG knows that last one got a little bit too close for comfort. NRG is getting themselves off to a beautiful start. Look at the money, Kevin.
This feels like it's the classic NRG, right? Is that NRG sometimes, it will be a close first map because the team fights really well. The NRG just seem to kick it into, they just go, all right.
This is the difference. There's a pretty big difference. It's called the individual stepping up and fragging hard factor. It's either, oh, we ground you out and we beat you with utility and fundamentals and trading, or Breezy just killed your entire team.
Whoever's storing that window smoke needs to go back and review it. I think this is the second time we've seen the same window smoke being failed from INTZ.
Yep.
Unless this is like next level play to make the CTs feel like the window smoke had failed.
Ooh, Cirque's going for a bit of a push.
Only to a certain threshold. He knows where the danger part is.
The old danger part.
As soon as you cross like a certain threshold where there's an AWP and everything, that's where you don't go past. And you can see Cirque, he's respecting that boundary. He's gone, I'm going to push up a little bit here to see if I can catch a T napping, holding it like a top mid, but never anything further back. And hints it look like they're set up for this a split B at the moment by the looks of it. They've still got 3 at top mid. And they're just slowly crawling up mid right now.
See if Ethan's able to spot them from the ticket booth. Horvy's going to try and make his way out of B apartments here. Most likely going to be punished by Daps. There it is. Oh my god, what is that flick from Horvy?
That's so sharp, and now in slowly coming up connector.
Look at the rotation from Ethan. He's running back in CT spawn. Previously, probably would have been posted on Palace. Phelps opens up from connector there. No one's watching mid, Kevin.
Yep, and Ethan hasn't really spotted out the shoulder of Zan just yet, but Zan doesn't want to be overextending for now. Cirque does manage to find that counterpart. Now Breezy also just chiming in and gets the sprayer down onto Cello. It's all down to KNG with the AWP. They know where he is. Now it comes Incendiary Grenade. He's going to be torched away, flashed as well off the angle, but Breezy can't land the shots. It's still an open plan, still a chance for KNG to land the shots he needs to. He's got to find it eventually, but there's just 2 CTs. Kit's going to be retrieved by Ethan. It's still going to be a round win for NRG from a favorable position from INTZ.
Same thing, Breezy fragging out. Triple from him in the disadvantageous situation. Oh, was it a double?
Only a double.
I thought he got 3.
No, you only got 2.
Okay.
I say only, but
he still made the difference. He's 10 for 3.
Yes.
Both of those gun rounds that INTZ should have been closing out. It was, once again, Breezy. Ethan doing huge work as well. These riflers can be so scary for any team to deal with. Cirque hasn't even had to do anything. They're all dead before he shows up.
Oh, I know. I mean, Cello and Zan, they're trying to commit onto the A-bomb site, but they have to commit through an Incendiary Grenade, and Ethan, they're just going to torch alive in it. Fugly's still here.
Fire's hot.
Oh, no. This is the...
Yeah.
You're saying it's the Cirque show, and Phelps, he's stuck on the balcony at the moment. Eventually, someone's going to pick him up, and... Oh, no. Phelps,
steps on the ladder.
He taps the ladder. He didn't want to go on the ladder, but this ladder, it's magnetic.
You go straight onto it. You can't help yourself.
Ladder's stuck. Please, I beg you. I need to land this kill. So, what is that like here? Ladder inaccuracy has ruined Phelps' day. And this is a completely different story at the moment. This is where we're seeing that INTZ individually, they're not really firing up, and NRG, well, individually, they are starting to step up. Breezy, he's off to a racing start in comparison to what we saw in Inferno, who was looking a little bit colder there. They execute coming out from INTZ, but I don't know. They haven't committed beyond the smokes just yet. And Ethan, he's going to be dinked out. Palace play hasn't come out just yet. Cirque's still here, though. And Fugly thinking about dropping through the edge of the smoke. He's still spraying down, doing a ton of damage. But the trades have been equal so far for INTZ.
Breezy's still alive, though, with a belt full of utility.
Cello, though, on the lurk, able to at least nullify one of these angles. And now this is actually a lot more difficult for them to do. Cirque still managed to get the flick across. They know where Horvy is. They know where Cello is. And Horvy getting the spray down he needs. Dropping the Deagle. Oh, switching away to the Deagle. Still going to be a stick on the defuse. Is Cello going to get there in time? All he needs to get a spray through the smoke. And he will be able to do so. INTZ do manage to pick up their first round on the back of the Force pistol buy.
And he picks up the ult through the smoke. 10 out of 10.
Good stuff from INTZ to get something in.
That was only a half buy from them. Only a handful of smokes invested, some CZs and armor bought up, 1 AK, and they make it work. Beautiful stuff from INTZ. Good first round on the board, and definitely a lot of pressure put onto NRG's economy at this point. Lots of pressure towards this B apartments this time from INTZ. Dan's going to pick up Fugly, trying to walk up the apartments from underpass.
Yeah, he's seen that trick before. And you know what the saying is about fool me once and fool me twice. And fool me 300 times in a row, because...
Still a lot of people towards B apartments for INTZ. NRG is going to have to see what they can do to deal with that. I mean, it's a little off angle there from Daps. The pop flash, the thing is, he doesn't see anything from that, and the rotation is still coming over from Cirque because Ethan's pushed into A ramp. Good little mid-round play from NRG, gathers them a lot of information. That smoke is really going to slow things down. And Cirque, you can see him making his way towards market. The big difference maker is going to be Phelps making his way, walking through mid. 4 people waiting behind the smoke in B apartments, just seeing if Phelps rather can find anything walking up connector here. If he can cause any more rotations, if he can see how many players there is towards this A bomb site. But I imagine this is it coming out from INTZ.
Oh, they need to get this kill onto this B-site defender, and Horvey looks like they're able to get the entries down, but Cirque is still here, and that's always a scary prospect at the moment. Phelps, though, making sure that Cirque is not going to have an easy time trying to transition into the B bomb site. They are eventually going to get the bomb plant down. Angles covered off by INTZ on this take so far.
Pretty good entry into the B bomb site. I mean, NRG got 1. And INTZ was very good, patiently waiting for that utility, and there was a really good command of that 5-on-4 after they peak Fugly walking up the underpass. That's really sort of the ideal thing that you want to do. You kind of want your 4 players in one position, and when you're in a 5-on-4, you send that one guy in to get information or get a pick and cause a rotation. So that's exactly what INTZ do. They have 3 alive, which is going to mean good stuff for their money. Cirque is going to be able to hold on to the AWP, which is potentially going to be a problem for them into the next round. But
still a bit of cash for NRG to work with, so they can get some pistols up to support this AWP, but I probably wouldn't invest fully into this round if I was NRG. It really depends on their confidence levels at this stage, which mean knock down a peg or 2 at this stage. They've gone, all right, we've come out guns a-blazing. INTZ have done well to get 2 rounds. We need to tighten things up.
As you said, pistols brought up on the side of NRG around the AWP. And straight back into it for INTZ. Smokes onto the A bomb site. And they're going to make their way out gradually. Not taking things too quickly.
A lot of players over here on the A bomb site for the CTs, though, playing around the edge of the smoke grenades. You can see Ethan dancing around the sandwich. It's a pretty aggressive smoke, and Breezy trying to catch one off timing. Doesn't work out this time around. Cirque is burning, and now out comes Ethan, but the trade is going to be there. And it is a good shutdown coming in from INTZ. Good patience coming out.
Yeah, that was 4 on the bomb site for NRG, as well as Cirque at jungle, and that was such a clean round. The utility does wonders for INTZ.
Very patient take as well. So
for sure, yeah. That was beautiful stuff from them. And you're gonna see that in their money. Look at their money, Kev.
Yeah, it's starting to kick in a little bit soon, so at least have a bit of breathing space in case NRG do manage to take a few more rounds. But, I mean, the question at the moment is, can NRG take a few more rounds? Because INTZ starting to look a lot better in terms of trading on paper.
For sure. Actually playing full retake on the A-bomb site. Cirque just posting up, seeing what he can find from that jungle area. Lots of pressure towards B and middle on NRG, but it's more of a passive hold per se out from NRG. Now going to move into a slightly more normal setup. It's still going to be a retake A setup, but Cirque posted up from Ticket to see what he can find. Connector control is obtained by INTZ. Very well done from them, but Breezy picking up one in ladder. Falls back through short, and he's going to get away with it as well. Ethan on the bricks here doesn't get picked. She picks up Cello instead, so this passive setup with the riflers in position where they can pick people and fall off into more safe positions is working out beautifully. That pops up and finds Horvey. KNG picked up by Fugly in mid there. And it's beautiful, just little mid-round adjustments, cheekier positions, and well-found timings there by NRG to close this one out. But luckily for INTZ, they've been making some good calls. They've been very responsible with their money, and it's going to allow them to continue to get more gun rounds out from this T side, despite getting pretty handily dismantled in this round by NRG.
And Bazan, I mean, he's looking to try to do some more damage. Does well to draw the shot out. But still, so many riflers trained on his location. As a matter of fact, the double AWP now, yeah. Free retrieval for the double AWP, and Ethan decides that he's an AWPer now. It's going to give that one over, though.
Yeah, Daps is their secondary AWPer usually.
I mean, he's a B-site anchor as well, and that second AWP is going to assist him quite a bit. Can probe a little bit deeper than you normally can with a rifle and try to challenge INTZ control of the B-apps. Considering INTZ have been putting quite a lot of their forces over there. You can see actually INTZ 5-man into the B-apps very early on.
Yep. See how it goes for them. They need to have some pretty well-timed flashbangs or a aggressive smoke up into the apartments here if they want this round to work out for them. It's a double up on short though from both Cirque and Breezy, so they have 2 AWPs on the B site already. These flashes need to be very, very good for INTZ, or this execute's not going to work well. Wow. But they're not coming out with the flashes, Kev.
This has got to be a fake. They have to back off now. And, I mean, Cello, they need to be selling a convincing job of what's going on. But you can see Fugly has already switched over to Connector.
Phelps needs to stop people peeking from short here to be able to help the underpass players come up and take the fights with the connector player or the window player. They're taking their time coming out underpass here. NRG very split up and not in very good positions to be able to hold on to mid. Phelps picks up Fugly and he does a good job coming out top mid, but Breezy trades one back. It's a 1-for-1.
Damps misses the first shot though. Granted the opportunity to at least answer the calling, and this is slowly but steadily starting to fall apart for INTZ. I don't know if Damps knows that that Horvey, I think it was, Cello has been able to flip across.
This is what we saw from them yesterday, Kev, just the indecisiveness, the walking around, taking too much time and not using their utility well enough, and up against the double AWP of Luminosity, that was getting them into a lot of trouble. On their T sides, they really had a good time on their CT sides against Luminosity yesterday, but on their T sides, when it came up to versing the double AWPs, when it came to making decisive decisions in the mid-round when plan A doesn't go exactly how you might want it to, INTZ really struggled, and we're seeing that again here, unfortunately. Their execute gets halted by utility, and when they try to break it down into the mid-round, they've been unable to really do much of anything. And maybe that's where you need to say, if they're unable to make those mid-round plays, if they're unable to know what the next step is once plan A doesn't go so well, maybe they need to just be decisive and see, you know, take the L's. If plan A doesn't work and they get shut down, you got to take that L, but they'll get more overall rounds and they get more overall work done if they're just decisive all the time and if they just commit to that B execute rather than just throwing, you know, bunch of smokes, bunch of Molotovs and 6 to 8 flashes and then just not doing much of anything.
Are going to be able to get some control of window in this round. They've got some pistols up as well, but Fugly as well as Breezy seem to be in a position ready to nullify it. Cirque, though, taking a big dink for his troubles, and Phelps is going to be able to clean up, but there are rifles able to trade out Cirque at the end of the day, and Damps going to try and swing in a position so the Ts can't retrieve one of the AWPs. The rest of the Ts trying to make their way out of A ramp. Ethan finds the timing on one pick. Might be able to find the timing on more as Horvey tries to retrieve the dropped AK. It's all down to Zand at the moment. Unfortunately, not enough firepower there to try to push back the CT defenders.
Straight back onto the buy from INTZ. KNG can technically afford the AWP, but he won't be able to get armor. It's probably just going to be AWP util. So we've seen him be someone who doesn't shy away from buying up the glass cannon. He's going to go for it now. No one really showing up in huge spades on the side of INTZ like we saw last map from Cello. On this T side, it seems like they're really getting outskilled at the moment by some of the individuals from NRG. Apart from those 1 or 2 rounds where they had some nice executes towards the A bomb side or they broke down the round in an impressive manner, it doesn't really seem like much has gone their way since then. And it doesn't really seem like they're very privy to running the same sort of play over and over again or running a default. It's a different approach every time. It's a different look that they're showing in RG where they're just going, you know, slowly into middle, or they're throwing an execute every round, or they're throwing a contact play every round. And the weakness to that is that your players can sort of start to, how do I say it? They don't take full advantage of the round. They're not as familiar with the way that things are unfolding time and time again, because it's changing up every time if you're changing the strat, right, Kev? So, you know, you might not be able to have your individuals firing on all cylinders if you're changing things up all the time and you're not giving them familiar situations where they're able to have the same sort of decision trees time and time again as you might see in a default round. And Horvey dry peeks out A ramp, gets his head picked off. KNG gets one back onto Fugly though, and they're going to crunch this A site from Connector and Palace.
I mean, how else is this going to work? Ethan's still in the position ready to trade things out. And Ethan, he's going to be blinded off briefly, but they don't know there's going to be still one at this default position. The bomb is coming ever so closer. Ethan's going to hear this, and well, Ethan just swings around and just denies both of the remaining INTZ players. And can't complain about that at the end of the day for NRG. They just wait for INTZ to come a little bit closer, and then they pounce.
They just look so indecisive. It's the same thing as yesterday, Kev. This is very different to how they looked on Inferno, isn't it?
100%.
They need someone to get in there and take control of the round, get a multi-frag or something of that nature. Now they're going to buy up into this one, but they have very limited utility again. Need to see something come in hard and fast from INTZ. Something decisive, something that they can't slow down on, they can't hesitate. Just get in there and take the angle, use your skill, you have so much of it.
But at the same time as well, NRG have stepped things up, so it's not just a case of, okay, we got to step up and just go all together. You've got so many NRG members just looking to duel it out. Look how much presence there is at mid at the moment. Cirque's just gone straight down to unders to try to contest it. And even as INTZ are walking out a ramp as well as Palace at the stage, how much more can they get done with Horvey with a Galil? Well, that's a good start for both Zand and Horvey, getting a couple of entries over into that A bomb site to at least equalize it to a 3-on-3.
They even it up, and there's not much utility left for NRG, so if INTZ gets another pick or they are able to get the bomb down and get in some decent post-plant positions, then it's all going to be down to the duels. And if INTZ set themselves up on good enough angles, if Horvey uses his flashes well enough and they avoid the flashes for NRG, then things could go much better for them. The slowing down here is really good from INTZ. Unfortunately, those Daps is just too good. I thought that was Cirque with how sharp he's looking with the orb. That's how good he just was from the jungle position. I literally thought that was Cirque.
I don't blame
all three in quick succession.
I don't blame you at all, because I looked at that and I'm like, no, that says Daps, but that was looking like Cirque S for a moment, and oh boy, you can watch this again. It was just pristine.
Beautiful, beautiful work from the man.
And for NRG, that was, once again, another promising sign for INTZ to try to take control from there, but they just stumble over. It's the briefest moment of seconds. The timing comes out in the favor of NRG.
Looking like another AXE over towards the bomb site here.
Ethan having the scope out on the org, playing that triple position, but he's going to have to back away to tick it. Decides to not risk it anymore. Knows he's got teammates to work with, and they've got so much, I mean, a decent amount of utility. I shouldn't say so much. The single smoke and 2 flashbangs for the Ts to also work with as well.
Yeah, but they haven't really gained any ground, and they're all just still sitting around sandwiched doing a whole lot of nothing. That boost is going to allow KNG to pick one up, and he's traded instantly from Ticket. Ethan's got the little scope on. No utility left on the Ts, and they haven't got the bomb down or the bomb site, so it's all going to be aim duels here, and these angles are pretty good from NRG, and the weaponry is superior. Ethan just carving everybody up with that org. He's got 20 kills in the half, looking for the 21st, and there it is. Hits the head and nothing else.
Oh boy. And that's a 12-3 lead for NRG coming into the half-time point, and for INTZ, a much more different look compared to what we saw in Inferno. And as you were saying, hesitation was the killer mainly on their T side. At least they're coming onto the CT side now. With a pistol, they can try to establish something. But with how sharp NRG have been, I mean, we've been talking about how INTZ have been hesitating. I can also say that the firepower for NRG has been absolutely on point so far in this game. You look at Ethan, he's continuing that good work on Inferno. Breezy, looking much better as well. Daps hasn't seen much action so far, hasn't really been called into combat. But looks like he was channeling the spirit of Cirque.
True that. Not a whole lot else to say, I feel like, and I think, unfortunately, you know, it's great when Cello drops a 20 or 30 bomb and you get real close to beating NRG, but when none of your boys is showing up and you don't have any strats it seemingly to fall back on, no real default to run on your map's pick T side, then what can you really say, Kev?
I mean,
that's just not acceptable, really. It
is a worrying sign, and NRG got 2 smoke grenades to work with. Don't know how they want to be using them, though. Connector and jungle, you think, or a CT and a stairs/jungle?
Well, it could be stairs or jungle, or it'll be connector and deep jungle. Looking like stairs and jungle with the flashes over the palace, but the flashes don't really come out, not that they're needing them, because they are just tearing everybody apart. It's actually a 2-for-2. Phelps running in and out of the smoke doesn't get a whole lot done. Zan hasn't been cleaned out yet. 3-on-3, Cirque with another.
Action has slowed down right now, as As Holby's managed to maneuver his way over to Sandwich, and the T is no closer to getting the bomb plant down, but they do know where both of the other CTs are going to be in. So Fugly going to be playing that Tetris position and see if he can get the headshot, but oh my goodness, Horvey nearly picks away Cirque as he's looking away. Phelps going to be transitioning away from that jungle area to make things a little bit more difficult for the T side. That said, though, Cirque and Fugly are going to be clearing things out at the jungle side, and they're going to try and wrap around into the B-bomb site. And it's going to work out perfectly fine for them, unless it's going to be Horvey shutting it down. It's Phelps actually shutting things down, but Fugly is able to get that one tap. Now it's all down to Horvey. Doesn't have that kit to retrieve, but at least he is close in that position to try to deny some of the advantageous post plants that Fugly can be sitting in.
He's very quick into market here, though, so he can really narrow down the options of where Fugly can and can't maneuver. Fugly trying to be a little bit tricky on the bomb site here. Spots him out. Both of them tag each other up, but Horvey with the armor, that really makes all the difference, doesn't it?
It does, and I mean, the headshot also helps as well, coming in from the USP. So INTZ, at the very least, have a little bit of space to work with, unless NRG. I mean, they could decide to force buy at the moment. You might call me crazy, but we've seen some crazy things so far coming out from NRG.
I would probably just go for the CZ armor with a couple of grenades. I mean, you saw on Inferno, they can more than handily win those kind of rounds without too much effort expended, to be honest. And even if they don't win it, you're straight back into the gun round, because I trust in their ability to be able to go straight into, how do you say it? Straight into a buy round, because they probably will be able to get the bomb down with those kind of plays, but they're not actually going to go for it. It's a fairly conservative buy from NRG after getting the bomb down. They're going to go for a full gun round. Open all the bells and whistles, all the flashes, molotovs and smokes next round. They're not going to have a single problem.
And Fugly's got enough to even get an AWP and dropping that over. So there it is. Cirque's got an AWP and he's got utility to work with as well. Fugly, he's still got a smoke grenade. That's all that you really need, I guess, for an execute. You don't need any of these fancy molotovs or flashbangs. Drop a smoke, go out mad fragger. He's going to use the smoke very early on as well, just to make sure that mid position's a little bit more cleared out.
This is the difference between these two teams, right? Look at NRG. They're going for a bit of mid control. They're going for a default sort of a play. Try to take connector or get someone in ladder. Try to get Cirque to pick someone in the mid round, maybe up connector or something of that nature. Very rarely saw that from INTZ. INTZ always straight onto the bomb side. So it's like we were watching a bit of Asian CS, really. You go A or you go B. A bit of MVP PK on the Mirage T side. That's what I'm used to seeing, to be honest, but completely different look from NRG. Smokes onto Cat, smokes onto Windows, smoke top connector, pop flash. Ethan, first gun round, already full connector control, and now INTZ will have to play reactive. KNG's going to have to do his best to stop. I mean, if Flash into the ladder room, they literally have all the boxes ticked, and it's going to be up to KNG to make a mid-round play and get a pick there, or maybe Phelps to do so as well, but he gets picked by Daps there.
Oh my goodness, KNG has spotted out a lot of information though. And he might be able to get away with it. He's coming ever so closer, and like a shark, he will strike. Cirque doesn't know which direction to look, but it might have come in a little bit too late. He's going to navigate his way around the Molotov, but it's
Absolutely
just not
textbook.
enough. NRG is still able to deflect away.
That's not cello from Inferno, I'll tell you that, Kev.
No, unfortunately it isn't, but I can tell you what Fugly and what the boys from NRG are doing at the moment. They are channeling that CT, very early CT side on, and Fugly and Ethan both picking up a double to pretty much close out the round for NRG.
And that was just beautiful. Textbook. That's a beautiful round to watch if you want to just see how to grab control of mid and get yourselves in all the right positions using utility to close the round out. It's just beautiful stuff from NRG, and INTZ, there was nothing that they could do. NRG just used their utility to get into great positions and then decisively hit the bomb site from multiple different angles, from multiple great positions.
Looks like pretty much the same strat they're running at this stage. You've already got Breezy and Connector, but KNG pushing through the smoke, really risky. Cello was able to at least pick off one kill, but there's just too many at the moment for him to even...
Gets instant double peak. Like, what are you going to do? Honestly.
Orvie already, oh my goodness, he is just a singular point of Harry Potter. That's just not enough.
He was not the boy who lived. He was the boy who lived very briefly.
And I think that's all the opportunities that you're going to get at the end of the day. And even, who is that flying up the ladder? My goodness. Celebration party, but NRG 2 rounds away from just closing out the series with a 2-0 And for INTZ, I mean, they do have a buy around, but the way that NRG have been approaching their take so decisive.
This would be the perfect round to throw in like a mid-smokes into an A contact or something. That's exactly what we're going to see. Cirque heading out mid, lots of riflers over. He even gets the pick on KNG. This time, INTZ, they've been losing mid so much, they have to start to make the adjustment. They have to start fighting for mid control, but if they do so and NRG contacts out A, that's going to be all she wrote, really. So the calling from NRG and just the playbook, the default working perfectly, there's nothing that these INTZ boys can do. They're just getting torn apart. They're getting completely outstratted. Ethan's literally an aimbot of the human variety.
How do you even get that flick down? I don't even understand. Horvey, he doesn't understand what happened to his team as well. He just goes, I'm B-side anchor. Like, why do you guys lose A?
Taking a page out of my life right now.
Feels bad for Horvey because there's just hungry NRG members. Now they know where he is. I mean, Horvey does put himself in this round with a bit of a chance. No longer, though.
NRG's everywhere and INTZ are nowhere.
Oh, that's just down to, I mean, Cirque opening up the round with the AWP with that pick onto KNG, but just
wouldn't even have needed it. I guarantee you, Cirque would have started to put some pressure on middle. You would have seen that stairs player have to head over towards connector with KNG, and you would have seen Ethan walk out A-ramp there with all the boys, and that would have been it.
I mean, we did see he
didn't even have to be that easy.
So 10 match points now for NRG to close this out, and for INTZ, they're going to have to force up. And none of the really strong weapons, and this might be the beginning of the end, because Ethan and Fugly, oh my goodness, they're getting the opening pick, and Fugly, he's going down, but everyone else is dying around INTZ at the moment, and only a single person to find, and Breezy still manages to get that flick, and just as you like it, NRG. Textbook victory on a Mirage. Didn't look too phased at all in that victory over INTZ. And unfortunately for INTZ, looking a little bit lackluster on that T side. Some of that, I guess, hesitant stepping back into their gameplay. It wasn't like that Inferno where we saw a lot of decisive movements, a lot of active probing. It was just, it looked scared, in all honesty.
Yeah. That's the difference, right? I mean, NRG very lackluster, and some really big impact fraggers showing up for INTZ on Inferno shows a close game that NRG closes out. If INTZ doesn't show up and NRG's on point, no chance, my friend.
Yeah, and it didn't even look close towards the end as well. 16-5. I mean, a lot of the rounds, I couldn't even argue that it was a... we did see the Renegades up against Luminosity matchup. We saw the round count. Yeah, it was a little bit far away, but the first 6 rounds weren't even close. And even though INTZ did manage to pick up a few, they were looking a little bit better in terms of the fragging. It never really consistently carried forward, and as a result, NRG just able to really dominate the game away from there.
Yeah, INTZ really needs to work on their play up against the double AWPs and work on having a decisive T side. And they really need these defaults, right? Like, I understand they have a team with heavy firepower and they don't have like an very established in-game leader, but you really need to start to work on your playbook. You need to start to work on your defaults, because you can't just keep running execute after execute. You can't keep running contact play. You can't keep relying on individuals to show up and perform, because in that map they didn't, and you saw exactly what happened. And that's only one map to one map. We're not even talking about week to week where somebody's performance can go up and down. What happens next month if, you know, Phelps falls off a little bit from the form that he can definitely reach if he's hitting those heights, you know what I mean? And one map to one map, you're seeing the difference in inconsistency from this INTZ team. It's just, yeah.
I mean, yesterday we did see that their Mirage was also quite weak on the T side. I think it was
their map pick.
I mean, I think it was a big surprise for us coming in, because we were looking at Inferno, and the things that we were doing in Inferno were a lot more exciting. It was decisive. We saw that A side execute, and even though they went down, and yeah, the firepower was there, at least they were all going in together. They weren't spaced out like they were in Mirage. You could see that sometimes players were doing something else. And even, I guess the decisiveness we saw yesterday in Luminosity, it felt like a little bit weird sometimes, like Phelps would be going up catwalk by himself, but all the other players were committing out of A. We didn't see something like that today, so I don't know if that's just down to, once again, the pressure that NRG were applying, because it was, once again, a different look NRG coming into this matchup as well.
NRG didn't even let them run their game plan, and then in the middle of that half, you know, once NRG got off to a little bit of a start, INTZ were able to get a couple rounds. They threw in a couple of A executes, got some really nice entries into the round, and that was really the difference, where they were able to close them out. But even some of those rounds got a little bit close. But after that, NRG changes it up. They get the double AWP rolling, and there's nothing that they could do against that. From that point on, they really didn't ever have a much better buy. They looked completely extremely indecisive. They were taking things far too slowly, and they didn't really have the utility to be able to run it into the late round against NRG.
Yeah, I mean, even if you looked at the end of the day, I mean, you look at someone like Ethan who was just mad fragging it out. He was looking like he was going to, I don't know, go for the ECA, like top ranking for Rank S and just earn lots of money in terms of playing ECA pugs, because that was just, it was disgusting to watch in terms of Ethan and Breezy in that form. And that's like like you said, like the NRG, they expect the core 3 sometimes to turn up and just have that firepower. And when it does, it just sometimes doesn't even look close, because it's just the form of dominance that just comes forward. It's, oh, I feel bad for INTZ because, yeah, sure, a couple of problems on the T side, which was compounded by the fact that NRG were just, yeah, they were done. They wanted to come and win.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, it's definitely need to work on their game plan a little bit in terms of the T side, work on some of their fundamentals. What's their approach going to be? What's their tried and true setup that's going to keep getting them rounds time and time again? And they need to start running that. They can, and then from that point on, maybe some of the individuals will start to become a little bit more consistent and start to have some more high performances rather than just being fluctuating all the time.
Well, we have to we have to wait and see, I guess, because that is their Series 9 for today. We still have one more after this for Matchday number 6. It's going to be MIBR up against E United after this break.